Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you just need light weights. Under 5 pounds is perfect. If you do not have them or you do not want to use them, that is totally fine. You can do the whole class without. And we will get started in all fours when you're ready. Weights and put them off to the side and come down onto your hands and knees. And then just take your knees about anywhere wider than your hips. Walk your hands forward and sit your hips back towards your heels. And then just rest your forehead on the ground for a second. Take a nice big inhale. Feel your ribs expand wide to the side, and exhale. Feel yourself sink down towards the floor. And then again, take a nice big inhale. And exhale, sink a little bit more towards the floor. And then walk yourself over to the right. And then reach your right arm back past your feet. Walk your left fingertips away, getting a nice stretch through your shoulder and armpit on that left side. Maybe all the way down into your hip. And then walk yourself back to the left. And then reach forward with your right fingertips, back with your left. Same thing, walk them away from one another. Your head can come to the floor, or just gently look down, trying to keep tension out of your neck. One more breath here. And then come back through the center. And then place your forearms on the floor. And then just think about lengthening your chest. Sliding your elbows back towards your hips. Feeling a little stretch and engagement through the upper back. And then come forward onto all fours, or an all fours kneeling position, but staying on your forearms here. And then just tuck your tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Really press through the whole arm as you round towards the ceiling. And then widen your sitting bones. Find length. Again, think about sliding those elbows back towards your knees, lengthening through the chest, and then press through the floor, round up towards the ceiling. And then again, coming the other direction, finding that extension, and then round your spine. And back down. One more time like this. And then find that extension and then come into a nice neutral position here. Bring your right hand underneath your shoulder and then press yourself up into all fours on your hands and knees. Extending your right leg back behind you. Float that leg up, keeping your hips nice and square. And then tap it down towards the floor and lift. Crown of your head reaching away from your toes. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Bring that knee in underneath you and switch sides. Extending the left leg back and then float it up, opening through the front of the hip. Hip bones stay square to the ground as you lift and lower. For 4, 3, 2, and last one, bring your knee back underneath you. Go ahead and grab onto one of your weights in your right hand, and then just have your left hand still on the ground pressing in. You can bring your knees a little wider if you'd like a larger base of support. And you're just gonna reach your right arm out to the side to a T, and then tap it back down underneath you. And then again, lift it up to the side, and then back down. Have a nice soft elbow, and then feel your shoulder blade on that right side gently sliding in towards your spine, but only lifting your arm so high that it stays in your periphery, not going above your shoulder. For 4, 3, 2, and last one, lowering it all the way down. From here, bring your hand out in front of you, and you're just gonna lift your arms straight up. Same thing, soft elbow, not letting that hand go above your shoulder. 6 more. 5. Now your shoulder blade is slightly sliding down and in rather than just in towards that spine. Check in on your left elbow. It's not hyperextended. You have a little bit of softness there as well. And that your hips haven't slid back over your heels. Last one. Good, and then bend the elbow and bring your hand just below your shoulder. And now you're gonna reach it straight out and then pull it back towards you. and then reach long, and then think like you have resistance coming from that wall in front of you as you pull it back. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, bring it all the way back. Drop your arm for just 1 second. Now we're gonna add on our legs. So from here, extending your left leg back behind you, extend your right arm out in front, and you're gonna float your arm and leg up together, and then tap it back down. And then lift and lower. For 6. Making sure you're starting your breath before you move. 4, 3, and if at any time you've had enough with the weight, just drop it. 2. Last one, keep that leg lifted. Bring your elbow back by your side. This time you're gonna lengthen your arm all the way back behind you, and then lower your leg down, and then extend the arm as you lift the leg. For 4, 3, giving a little squeeze to the tricep. That upper arm stays nice and still. 2 more. Last one. Keep that leg lifted. Now bring your arm in line with your shoulder. You're gonna flex the foot, keep the thigh still as you reach the arm long, and then bend the arm in as you extend the leg. Bend the leg, extend the arm, and switch. Bend in, like you're squeezing a little ball with that calf against your thigh, reaching long through the knee. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Good, and then lower the arm down, lower the leg down. Make sure you have enough room next to you. You're gonna bring your right arm out to the side slightly, and I'll just show you with my right leg. You're gonna open up your left leg like this to the side, like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant, as you lift up your right arm to the side. So opposite arm, opposite leg. Reach from the thigh, that outer hip on that left leg, as you slide your shoulder blade in towards your spine. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then lower all the way down. Drop your weight, bring your hands both underneath you. Curl the tailbone under, round the spine up towards the ceiling, and we will trade sides. And then find that extension, take a nice stretch. And then shake your hips from one side to the other. And we will switch sides. All right, so from here, you're gonna start right arm on the ground, knees as wide or slightly wider than your hips, and then just slide that left shoulder blade in toward your spine as you float the left arm up. And lift. Again, starting with just the arms first. Make sure your hips are over your knees, not traveling back towards your heels. For 3, 2, last one, and then extend the arm in front of you, float it up and back down. Good breathing as you go. Make sure that your abs have not just floated down towards the floor, they've got a little engagement, but if you poked them, you can feel that they're working, but they're not so tight that you're holding your breath and unable to breathe. Last one. Bend the arm in. So the upper arm is by your side, and then reach it long overhead, and then resist to pull it back in. And if at any time you do want to keep going with the arm, but you want to give your wrist a break, you're just going to sit back onto your heels. For 3, 2, and last one. Lower that arm down. You can shake out your wrists for a second, and we will add the legs. So to start, left arm, right leg, float them up, reaching them away from one another in opposition. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Bend that knee, bend the elbow, and then extend the arm, extend the leg. Squeeze in like bend your knee like you're squeezing a ball towards the hamstring for 4, 3, 2, last one. Lead the arm long, extend the leg, lower the leg down as you bend the elbow, lift as you extend the arm. We did this differently on the other side, doesn't matter. Good, keeping your hips nice and square, making sure that right hip hasn't dipped. For 4, 3, give me a little squeeze, that tricep, upper arm stays still, 2, last one, bend the arm, bend the knee, last one, a little bit of fire hydrant with the T raise. So that right leg is lifting out to the side. Don't worry if it doesn't go very high. Same thing with your arm. 4 more. Neck is nice and long. 3, 2, and last one. Lower everything all the way down. Reach the arms forward and take a nice stretch. Walk the fingertips forward and then find the elbows glued into the ground, and then stack one hand on top of the other, and then reach your hands back towards your spine, right in between your shoulder blades, stretching out those triceps a little bit, heels, or butt rather, back towards your heels. Take a big inhale here, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Good. Come over onto your back. Grab both weights and take them with you. Don't let them roll away. You can just have one on each side, and then just lower all the way back down. You don't need them yet. And then just make sure that your head is all the way on the ground, your hips are on the ground, and those back ribs are also on the ground. You can bring hands to your rib cage or to your hips, whatever feels good here. And just relax your shoulders, relax your whole upper body. Take a big inhale. Feel your ribs expand laterally and also towards the floor behind you, not just up. And then exhale. Feel your ribs draw gently towards one another. And then inhale and exhale. Good, this time you're going to inhale. And on your exhale, draw your hips closer towards your ribs. Gently press your low back into the floor. And on your inhale, release. Your hips stay down. You're just doing a little pelvic tilt here. Finding that engagement through the center. And release. Last one. And then release. From here, bring your hands back behind your head. And really, sorry for the screaming in the background. And then feel your head really settle into your hands, and then curl the head, neck, and shoulders. Slide your ribs towards your hips, and then slowly lower back down. And then lifting up, making sure your head is heavy in your hands. Your chin is not pressing against your chest. Think like you're holding a little orange or clementine or tennis ball, whatever visual works best for you. 2 more. Last one, pause here. And then reach the arms long by your sides. If you would like to grab your weights here, you can. You do not need to. You're just going to lift up towards your knees and then press down, curl a little bit higher. And then lift the arms towards your knees and then press down. You're doing the same thing if you don't have those weights. So the range of motion here is small. Chest is nice and wide. Collarbones are open. Lifting up, press down. 4 more. 3. Think about curling up a little higher. 2. And last one. Reach longer through the fingertips and lower all the way down. Bring your hands over your shoulders. Grab your weights if you would like. And then from here, with your arms reaching towards the ceiling, make sure your hands are right over your shoulders. And then you're going to reach your knuckles or fingertips up towards the ceiling and then let them drop down. So really feel the weight of your shoulder blades here on the floor. And then bring your right leg into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. You're in a nice neutral pelvis here. So you're not arched. Your back ribs are still connected to the mat, but you're not necessarily pressing the low back into the mat. And you're just gonna tap down with your right leg and then fold at the thigh, or hip rather, and lift it back up. Staying on that right side, think about lengthening your thigh away from you and then bringing it back in. So lengthen from the thigh and then think about reaching the sitting bone away from you to bring that leg back in. And don't worry if your foot doesn't touch the ground. Think more on the overall stability and positioning of your body rather than how low you go. 2 more. Last one. Pause with that right leg at the top and switch sides. So again, think about lengthening that now left sitting bone away from you as you roll the femur into that hip as you lift up. Lengthening from the thigh rather than the foot. 3. 2 more. And last one. Pause with both knees in tabletop. And then from here, you're going to extend the right leg and then bring it back in. And extend the left leg. And resist, bring it back in. Don't worry about your leg going low. Just think about opening up through the back of the leg. The lower you go, the more challenging it is. But again, only go to the correct challenge where you're still in control of what's happening. So your abs shouldn't be puffing up towards the ceiling. One more time to each side. Last one on the left here. And now as your right leg extends, your left arm is going to come overhead and resist. Bring it back in. Staying with that right foot, left arm, and back in. Notice as the weight goes back, if you want to pull those back ribs off the floor. 4 more. 3. 2. And last one. Pause at the top. Right arm, left leg. Same thing. Bending and straightening that leg, letting that arm come overhead, and then pause in front of you. Or in front of your shoulder, rather. And then just check it on the wrists, both of them. Your knuckles should be reaching up towards the ceiling or your fingertips. You don't want to break in the wrist. So almost think like you're wearing a little splint or cast. 2 more. And last one. Pause at the top. Glue your heels together and externally rotate from the thigh. And then from here, you're going to extend your legs long. Think about them gluing together and resist to bring it back in. 4 more like this. And then we're going to get out of this tabletop position and give our hip flexors a little bit of a break. And out. Last one. Bend those knees in. Extend both arms overhead as you extend the legs and bring them in. And extend and bring them in. 2. Last one. Pause with the knees bent. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach the weights long by your side. Extend the arms overhead. Extend the legs. Bring it back in for 4. 3. Again, you could skip this and do any of the previous 2 versions. Last one. Good. Bring the knees all the way into your chest. Drop the weights. And gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then bring your feet wider than your hips. And let your knees fall over to one side. You can make a cactus position with your upper body, or with your arms rather. And then over to the other side. Getting a nice stretch and release through the low back and the hips. And over to the left. And to the right. Once more to the left. Good, and then bring your feet so that they're in line with your hips, hip distance. Think that you're holding onto a ball or a block with those inner thighs, and then arms gently will rest by your side. Check in on your shoulders. If your shoulder blades have started to reach off the floor, bring your arms maybe a little bit wider. You want that good base of support here, just like we did before. On your exhale, you're going to tuck your tailbone under, draw your hips towards your ribs, but this time you're going to keep pressing through the feet and peel yourself up into a bridge. Your shoulder blades and your neck remain on the ground. Open through the front of the hips, you have a little tuck under, and then slowly peel yourself all the way down. And then release at the bottom to neutral. Again, tuck your tailbone under, hips toward your ribs as you peel yourself up. Reach long through the thighs and the knees, and then feel the heels gently press down and then pull towards you a little bit to really activate through the back of your legs. And release. 2 more like this. Nice, gentle spinal articulation. And back down. Next time you're going to come up and you're going to stay. Good. From here, think like you have a rod through your hips, and you're just going to dip it down to the right and then come to the center, and then dip it down to the left and center, and to the right and center and left and center. Good. Just rotating your hips from one side to the other. The torso stays still. Excuse me. One more time to the right and to the left. Pause with your hips here, and then you're just going to lower them halfway down, hinging at the hips, and then press with the feet and lift. Lower down and lift. Keep thinking about squeezing that imaginary ball between the thighs. 2 more. Last one. Peel yourself all the way down. Grab on behind your thighs and gently rock yourself up to sit tall. Good. From here, have your legs out in front of you. They can either be bent or long. Doesn't matter, your choice. You can also alternate between the two, whatever is comfortable. Grabbing your weights, reach them out in front of you, shoulder width distance. Really feel the connection through the back, helping support by engaging the armpits a little bit here. And then tuck your tailbone under, round halfway back, thinking about opening up through the front of the hips, creating space, and putting your sacrum on the ground first. And from here, peel yourself back up to sit tall. We're gonna do 4 more like this. And back up. Again, really focus on opening through the front of the hips. 2. And last one, pause here. Drop one weight, hold on to both with one arm. You'll rotate to the right, and then center. And left, center. And again. Rotating just through your torso, so your knees and legs are staying totally still. Which means if you look at your knees or your toes, they're staying in line with one another. One is not starting to creep forward in front of the other one. 2 more. Last one. Pause in the center, sit up tall. We're going to combine both things, so around halfway back, you're going to rotate to the right and to the left. Pause in the center, lift the arms, lower the arms, sitting up tall. 4 more like this. Round down to the right and left. Center, lift. 3. Lift and then center. 2 more. And up. Last one. To the right and left. Lift. This time curl all the way down. Reach the arms all the way overhead. Curl yourself up. Draw the ribs towards the hips as your shoulder blades lift. And then round all the way forward over your legs. And then sit up nice and tall. So on your stomach, brief interruption. Create a little pillow for your forehead with your hands. And then you're just going to rest your forehead on your hands. From here, relax your shoulders. And then you're just going to think about reaching long through your right leg until it floats up off the ground. I'm going to keep my head lifted so I stop coughing. And lower it back down. Same thing, just staying on that right leg. Feel the hips evenly pressing into the floor. The pubic bone is gently pressed, so you're not arching through that low back. You want to stay supported as you lift and lower. Check in on your abdominals as well. Make sure they're not pressing aggressively into the ground. You want that engagement, which is a little drawn in through the abdominals, but not a squeeze. You shouldn't be sucking in at all. You should be able to breathe and move without any resistance. Last one on the right side, we're going to switch to the left. And then again, same thing. Reach so long through that left toe that your leg floats off the ground. Your thigh may not lift entirely. It may not lift at all. That's totally fine. 6 more. 4, check in on those shoulders. Try and relax them as best you can. 2, last one. And lower all the way down. Give your hips a shake. And then bring your forehead to the ground or your nose hovering just above it. And your hands by your side, or by your shoulders rather. So from here, like we did in all fours, you're just gonna float your hands up and then lower them down. Your head is also gently floating off the ground, lifting those arms up to a hover and back down. If you wanna make this a little bit more challenging and bring them out to a cactus position instead, go for it. The farther they are away from your body, the harder this is. For 4, again, that gentle slide in of the shoulder blades. 3, 2, last one, and then reach the arms long. Press the fingers into the ground and find a little lift and extension here. Keeping this lift through the upper body, you're going to lift the right arm. Notice what happens in the hips. The weight probably wants to go to the right side as you lower down. And then resist that weight shift as you lift the left arm. And then same thing, right and left. Check in on your hips. Make sure you're not arching through that low back. Really press the hips and the pubic bone into the ground. Last one to the right and to the left. Lower everything all the way down. Rest your forehead or cheek on the ground. Give your hips a shake. One last thing here. Again, find that little lift, that little bit of extension. Neck is nice and long. Gaze is down. Right arm, now left leg. And lower down. And switch. And switch. Four more. 3, 2, last one. And then lower everything all the way down. Press your hands underneath your shoulders and come into a nice rounded back child's pose here. And then come onto your left hip. You can grab one weight and bring it in front of you. And you're going to come onto your left forearm. And then you can bring your hand to your hip, or you can have it resting in front of you, whichever you prefer. Legs are stacked, bent more than a 90-degree angle. Your heels are in line with your butt. You're going to lift your right leg up so that your knee is in line with your hip. You're going to pull your leg in towards your chest and then extend it back behind you, keeping the leg bent. So bend it in and then open up through the hip like you're reaching the sole of your foot back to that wall behind you. And forward and back. Forward and back. If you'd like, grab your weight and you're going to have your hand reaching up towards the ceiling and your elbow by your side. And draw it in and press back. Good. So now you're going to draw your knee in, lower your arm to be parallel to the floor, and then open it up as you press back through the leg. And then lower down and press back. Your arm is more or less hovering off of your hip, but it's staying nice and stable. That upper arm isn't moving. You're just rotating in that shoulder and at the elbow. For 3, 2, neck is long. Last one. Pause with that leg back. Reach the arm up, keep pressing back through that leg. And reach the arm up and resist down for 4, 3. Keep squeezing through that hamstring on the right side. 2. Last one, keep the arm long, extend the leg, lower the arm and leg. And then you're going to lift the leg, bring the arm to the leg. And reach overhead, get a little stretch or length, if not a stretch, and then lift up. Arm overhead and up. Your rib is coming towards the top hip, or the top ribs are coming towards the top hips. And lengthen and up. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. Bend that arm, bend the knee. Lower the weight, and then just send your right knee back so that it's more or less by your right foot. You're in sort of a modified Z-sit position here, and then just side bend up and over towards the right. And then we're going to switch sides in just a second. We're going to do we'll switch sides first. Change my mind. All right. So weight now down in front of you. You're on your right forearm. Knees are stacked, hips are stacked, heels more or less in line with your butt. And then just press the floor away. So you're nice and supported through your shoulder. You're not sinking towards the ground on that right side. You're really lifted, and your neck is nice and long. From here, lift your knee and foot on that left leg to hip height, and you're going to pull it in toward your chest, and then you're going to open up and extend through the hip. Extending through the hip here does not mean arching your back. You can always bring a hand to your back. A little squeeze through the hamstring, and then opening through the hip. Almost more or less until your knee is just right in line with your hip. For 4, and we'll pick up the weight. 3, 2, and last one. Bring that leg in. Go ahead and grab onto your weight. Bring the knee in as that arm comes down, and then open it up as your leg presses back. And then bring it in, and press and open. As always, if this is too much coordination, your brain isn't ready for this at whatever 9:45 on a Saturday, just drop the weight, keep doing the leg, or drop the leg and keep doing the arm. Your choice. 2 more. Next time that leg comes back, it's going to hold. Really reach through the hamstring, like you're going to stamp the sole of your foot against the wall. Reach up with that left arm, pull it back down by your side, and lift. Keep pressing away from that floor, lifted through your right side, not sinking down, you're lifting away. For 3, 2, last one. Extend the leg, extend the arm, reach away from one another, and then lift and side bend a little. Overhead, and lift. And lift for 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then lower that leg down. Bring the foot towards the knee, and then the other foot back behind you, and then side bend over now to the left, relaxing through the shoulders. Good. You're going to move your weights out of the way for a moment. We don't need them. And you're going to come onto your right forearm one more time. Extend your left arm long, or your left leg, and pull your right knee underneath you. So we're going to come into a modified side plank, and you can progress it on to a full side plank if you'd like. From here, press down, press that floor away on the right side, just like we did. Nice and supported through that bottom leg. Reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. And you're just going to lower all the way down. Let the hip touch the ground, and then reach through the fingertips as you lift the hips up, and then lower down. And then lift. And lower. And if you'd like to progress, you're going to extend both legs and you're going to lift, tap the hips, and lift, and tap the hips. 2 more. Last one, pause here. Bend that knee back underneath you regardless, and then lift the top leg up. Slide it forward, and then press it back behind you. Slide it forward, and press it back. And forward, hinging at the hip, and then opening through the hip. Hip stays square, pointed forward for 3, 2, and last one. Pause with that leg, lower it down. Reach the left arm underneath, rotate towards the floor, and then open it up towards the side. And then reach and rotate, and lift. So hips can turn slightly towards the floor, and then rotate them just towards the front, and not up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, and last one. Lower those hips all the way down. Keep that leg long, and then let it rotate towards the ceiling as you side bend over towards the left. And then release into that stretch a little deeper, getting that nice stretch through the back. And then over to the other side. So swing your legs around. Left forearm to the ground, really press away. Bottom leg is lowered, top leg is long, and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Find that connection through the shoulders, and then press up into your side plank. You're gonna lower your hips down for 4, 3, 2, last one, pause here. If you'd like to progress, bring both legs long. You're gonna lower down for 4 more regardless, or take a break, do whatever you need. 2, hip stays facing the front. Last one. Regardless, bring your knee underneath you. Lift your top leg up. Hips are square to the front. Bring that left leg or right leg forward and then sweep it back behind you. You can always bring your hand to your hip if you prefer. Neck is nice and long. Chest is open. Really pressing away through the floor, not sinking down. 2. And last one. Lower that leg down. And then reach and rotate underneath you, and then open up towards the ceiling. If you want to do this in a full side plank again, go for it, but focus more on form and your breath. 3, 2, and last one. And then lower all the way down, and then sit down onto your butt. Rotate your left leg, or right leg rather, towards the ceiling. And side bend up and over to the right. Excuse me. And then from here, come on to all fours one more time. Perfect. Hands underneath your shoulders. And then go ahead and tuck your toes under. Take a nice big inhale. Find your nice neutral spine. Exhale, feel the heels of your hands pull back toward your hips. Take a nice big inhale one more time. Exhale, float the knees off. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. And then inhale to lower all the way down. One more time, just coming up into that hold. Exhale, lift. Holding here for 4, 3, don't forget to breathe, and then lower all the way down. One more time, we're gonna hold or come up, but then we're gonna move out of this position. Inhale, exhale, lift. If it feels comfortable, extend your right leg back behind you and your left to find yourself in a full plank. If you need to, drop to your knees, but regardless, tuck the tailbone under and then think like you are looking over a cliff. So you have a little bit of weight reaching forward, but it's being countered by the weight lifting or reaching out of your heels. And then you're gonna lift your hips up into tabletop, down dog if you're in a full plank. Otherwise, you're gonna come into a child's pose. And then you're gonna uncurl your hips and then find that plank position. Again, full plank or kneeling, your choice. Lifting up into down dog or child's. And then again, coming back through. One more time, lift up. And come back. Walk your left knee in underneath you and your right knee. Find your bear plank. Left leg out, right leg out. Right leg in, left leg in, right leg out, left leg out, and then lift back up. One last time. Drop to your knees regardless, and everyone come into a child's pose. We will end with some push-ups because they're my favorite. You can either do them on your knees or on your toes, your choice. Any combination of the two also works. Find that plank one more time. Tuck the tailbone under. Reach back through the heels or the toes if you're in a kneeling plank. And then send your elbows back by your hips as you lower down towards the floor. Exhale to press the floor away and lift. And down. And lift. For 5, 4, 3, 2, hips, head all lower at the same rate. 2. Last one. And then send your knees wide. Find yourself in a final child's pose. And then just let your forehead rock from one side to the other. And then same thing, let your kind of shoulders and hips also rock back and forth with you. And then plant your right hand by your right shoulder. Walk your left hand over to the left, or towards the right rather. And then press into that right hand and twist. And just breathe here for a few breaths. 2. And last one. Come back through the center. Right hand reaches long. Left hand plants by your left shoulder. And then press and twist to the left. One or two more breaths here. Good. Plant your hands, tuck your toes under, lift your hips towards the ceiling, and then walk your hands slowly back by your feet. Have your knees super, super, super bent, and then just hang like a rag doll. Reach the crown of your head towards the floor so your neck is nice and elongated and relaxed. You can hold on to your head if you'd like, opposite elbows, whatever feels good. Sway back and forth from one side to the other. And then slowly walk your feet a little wider so they are at least hip distance or slightly wider. More like between hip and shoulder distance is perfect. And then pause in the center. Shift your weight to be truly centered on your feet. Tuck the tailbone under as you start to curl yourself up. Feel the sitting bones draw down the backs of your legs as you stack your spine all the way up tall. Move your hair out of your face. And then reach your arms up overhead. Grab your thumbs and then side bend over to the right. Really reach down through that left foot. Neck is nice and relaxed, so is your shoulders. Come all the way to the top. Switch the thumb grasp. Root down through the right foot. Relax the shoulders as you bend to the left. And then come all the way up to the top. Externally rotate your arms. Feel the shoulders relax. And then press down through the arms. Grow tall through the crown of your head. So you lower your arms by your sides. And let them find your side and you're all finished.